Okay, so nobody remembers what the slope, I just told you the answer, good grief, what the x is. Slope. Okay, so this is slope. Do y'all remember what b is?
Yes, it's your intercept.
What intercept?
Y equals mx.
Gosh, it's your y-intercept. Okay, this is what when I asked you, what does a y-intercept mean, and I told you to think of football. The y-axis, which is this, intercepts the line, right? Okay, so that was our y-intercept. And remember, our y-intercept is also our starting point. So if we have to graph, we always start with our y-intercept.
Didn't you put the equations into your calculator?
You could, but we're not going to today because your calculator, it's hard to find the exact location sometimes. Okay. So what you're going to do is,
teachers,
we're not doing this, guys. We have too much to do right now.
If you have not taken your
Oh, thanks. Okay. Solve each pair of simultaneous. Simultaneous means one after the other. It's more than one. At this point, we have two linear equations by graphing. When it says to solve, I'm not really solving for x the way that you would think. The way I figure out is by graphing them and figuring out where do they intersect. And you can put that here. Where the lines, we'll just put where they meet. Okay, so completely ignoring that second equation. Okay, I just have y equals x minus 1. What is my starting point? Where would I start my graph?
0.
-1. Okay, that's my starting point. So -1, I go down 1. There's where I start my line.
We have a winner.
Okay, x. If I don't have a number in front of my x, how many of them do I have? 1. Okay, well, how do I graph a slope of 1? Do you know? Up 1, over 1. Remember, slope, when we graph, is always rise over run. So if I have a whole number, how do I make a whole number a fraction? Put a 1 underneath it. So I have 1 over 1. So I started at my -1. I'm going to go up 1, over 1. I go up 1, over 1. And you need to do this quite a bit so that maybe your lines were going to meet way up here. Maybe not, but you need to graph it quite a bit. Okay, so then I have 2x minus 2. Where am I starting for this one? Where would I start my graph?
Sorry, guys. The answer was Tom Hanks.
What's my starting point? What's my y-intercept on this one right here?
2x.
-2. That is my starting point. So I go down to the -2, put me a dot. Okay, what is my slope? Okay, no, not over 2. How do I make a whole number a fraction? Just said it, guys. No. Put it over 1. All I do is put it over 1. Okay, so now do I have a rise over run? Yes. All right, so I started here and I go up 2, 1, 2, over 1. Up 2, over 1. Up 2, over 1. Now, did they share a point? Yeah, this one. What is that point? If I had to write it as an x and y coordinate, what is the point that they intersect or meet?
1x.
If I have a coordinate point, like a pair, there are two numbers. Okay, the 1 is on the x, so the x comes first, so it's 1. Did I have a y? No, so it's 1, 0. That's my answer. Okay, so the next one. Do I have a starting point?
Yes.
4x.
4. Positive 4.
Mm-mm.
Wait, no, you don't have a
Zero.
starting.
If it has an x, that's my slope. My starting point always comes after my slope.
Zero.
Did I have a starting point? Do y'all remember what that means?
That means you're starting at.
It's at the origin. Okay, so just because it doesn't say plus 0, that doesn't mean you don't start at 0. You absolutely start at 0. There is no y-intercept. You start at the origin. Okay, so what is my slope? What is my rise over run?
4.
Over 1.
4 over 1. So I go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. If I wanted to have more points, I could go down 4 over 1 just to extend my line. Okay, I make my line. Okay, so if x plus 3, did we already do this over here with an x? Yeah, I had 1 over 1. My starting point's what? 3. All right, and then what do I do from that?
Up 1 over 1.
Up 1 over 1. So I'll go up 1 over 1. What did it do? Okay. The lines met. At what point did they meet?
4.
Okay, so remember your x is always first. So here's my x-axis. So it's at the 1. My y is 4. So it's 1, 4. Now, you could put this in your calculator, but here's the thing. Let me show you kind of what this looks like. So I could put y equals, and I could put y equals 4x, and y equals x plus 3. And then I could hit graph. I hate trying to show this to y'all with this. All right, then I hit graph. Okay. Now, if I put my little cursor where they meet, all right, it says 1.2 and then 4.03. So did it give me an exact 1 and 4? No. So your calculator just doesn't give you a precise point. Now, could you estimate off of it? Yes, because so if I put this one in there, I could put x minus 1 and 2x minus 2. And if I graphed it, okay, so you see where it intersected. So if I came right here, you see how it says 1 and 0.16, it doesn't say 0. So your calculator's not giving you exact. That's why I said I wouldn't heavily rely on it at this point. Okay? I don't know yet, but you can look at it, and if you want to check, like, if you're doing these and you're like, well, I want my calculator to check, obviously you can tell 0.16 is really close to 0, right? And 1.01 is really close to 1. So you could use it to kind of gauge if you were doing it correctly or not. Okay? Okay, so this one. If all of my formulas have to be y equals, do I have to do something to that first equation to make it y equals? Because I need the y by itself. Does anybody know what I would do?
Subtract x.
Not subtract x.
Add it.
I have to do the opposite and add it. Okay, so now I can add it to this side. Remember how when you're solving for x, you do the opposite operation to move it? Same thing here. Okay, so now I have negative 2 plus x. Is that the same thing as y equals x minus 2? Yes. Okay. What is my starting point for that equation?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. Okay, so I start at the negative 2. My x is just an x. What does that mean?
1 over 1.
So 1 over 1. So then I go up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. Keep going for a bit. Okay, there's my first line. Okay, so this one is a little, not even really tricky, but I think a lot of you would overcomplicate this. How do you think I would graph y equals 2?
2.
Where 2? Is that my starting point? Is that my slope? What is it? Starting point. It doesn't have an x with it. X would be my slope. So that is where I would start. Does it have a slope? Is there an x in that at all? Not down. Nope. It would be a horizontal line. Y equals 2. It has no slope. Remember, a slope is what adds that curve to it. What adds if it's going up and down, slanted. Now, do the lines still meet somewhere? Yes. Where do they meet?
2 and 4.
Not 2 and 4.
4 and 2.
4 and 2. So it's 4, 2. Okay. How do you get the y by itself over here? Add what? No, not subtract. You are going to add because that's minusing 2x, so I need to add 2x. So that's 2x plus 4. Okay, I want you to try to graph that one on your own, both lines. I did the hard part for you.
Hey, Morgan, on these, try to do them like that because they're either putting the symbol the wrong way or they're putting the X in the wrong spot or doing the whole thing wrong. Because everything else is fine. But like this one wouldn't read anything. So I can answer that. You know what I mean? Like set it up. Is that okay? Is that okay? At this point, I should have asked you, what did you ever do? Okay. Because I feel like the X in the wrong spot wouldn't indicate that the wrong.
The x in the wrong spot, that's hard because that's.
So should the whole thing be on there for the
If
X?
the x is in the right spot.
Because this is wrong, right? Because it's 7 points, but 7 of it. And like you said, the X is 18.
Yes, that's wrong.
Okay.
I would be more inclined to do half for the sign.
Okay.
But if the x is with the wrong thing, that's just wrong. Yeah.
But I've been doing the symbol.
Yeah, the symbol's
Not
fine.
many people the X. It's just
Okay.
the symbol they've been getting it. And really it's only been one.
Yeah,
They've all been getting this one wrong. They've been just swapping the sign. Right. It's this way. I mean, it's this way. So, because you told me the arrow. Yeah. They've all been swapping it. So I think they just.
that one was tricky. They had to really read, and I warned a lot of them about that one.
Okay. That's the only thing. They all set it up correctly. It was just the symbol. So I
Yeah,
think
that's
they just weren't, like, you know what I mean?
Paying attention?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That or they couldn't. They get confused.
Yeah. Okay. What was my starting point for the first one?
2x plus 4.
4. Okay, so my slope is what? So y'all just sat there? 2 over 1. Okay. So I go up 2 over 1. So it'd be about here. Now, when I have something that starts way up here, I can just go the opposite direction because it's still going up. It's still a positive slope. But to get what my points would be here, instead of going up 2 over 1, I could go down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. Is it still in a straight line? And is it still continuing? Because then if I started here and I went up 2 over 1, am I still landing on the points that I just graphed? Yes. Okay. All right, so where is my starting point for this one? No. 0. There is no y-intercept, which means I always start at 0. What's my slope?
2x.
2 over 1. So I go up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. So how many of you graphed this and thought you did something wrong?
Not me.
So you were always like, oh, it didn't meet. I did it right.
Yep.
Okay, Mikey.
I did everything.
Okay. So, did my lines ever meet?
No.
No. So, how we would answer that is that it's never going to meet. They are never going to intersect. So, there is not a number in which they would meet. There is not a point in which they would meet.
So I didn't do it, you did, but I got the second line right by doing what I thought was right.
Well, then do what you thought was right. and
Mikey, he did not ask for your opinion. Just show me when you're done, and we'll see what happened. Okay. This next one, what do I have to do before I can graph that line? Okay, look at the first one. What do I do to the first one? I need the y by itself, correct? Yes? Okay, well, how do I get y by itself? Add 4 what? Okay, so plus 4x.
Is the thing on the air? It's really hot.
The air is on, yes, it just shut off.
Roll up your sleeve. Oh, you got short sleeve.
Okay, now what do I do, Sierra? You had tried to say it just a minute ago. What do I do to that second one? Okay, I have to do what with this 2 here? I have to distribute it by multiplying. So 2 times 2x is what?
4x.
Okay, 2 times 4 is 8. What do you notice about your line? It is the exact same equation. You can graph one line, okay? So the only thing is I would have to relabel this because this graph wouldn't fit it. So I could count by 2s. All right, so I have 4x, so plus 8. So I would start at the 8. I'm going to go down 4 over 1. So both of my lines, that would be the graph. So at what points do they meet?
All of them.
All of them. Yeah, I mean, every single point is the exact same as the other line, right? So how do you think you would answer that?
all of them, it would be 1, 1.
Wait, we do,
No, not necessarily, because 1, 1 would be right here. Did they meet at that one? Mikey, did they meet right here? Or no,
a 0.
not 0, because it met
Put a 1.
at a whole lot of points.
A 1.
So somebody last class said, would it be all real numbers? That's a really good answer, and it's a really good thought. But did it meet at every single number here? No, it did not. It did not meet at 4, -4. Did it? Okay. Did it meet at -8, 6?
We put equal.
No. What you would put is infinitely many. Can y'all just write what I write? Guys, remember your notes we overkill so that you can look at it and know. When y'all start abbreviating on your notes is what leads to problems.
On the test,
Maybe.
like, can we just do
Okay, but the reason we put infinitely many is because if I followed the pattern, would it ever stop? No. So it's infinitely many numbers while following that equation. Okay. Okay, this one I'm not going to help because y'all should be able to do that. Do I need to make this a fraction? No, it already gives you rise over run. This one, do you need to make it a fraction to get rise over run? Yes. So this one should be easy. I want you to try this one on your own. It will intersect. So when I say try on your own, that means every single one of you is trying it. I'm not saying get it right or else. But Isabel, pick up your utensil and try it. Y'all's homework is going to be exactly like this. Yes, this is going to be on your test.
Oh.
No. No, we didn't read it out in like nothing. I'm like, don't think she didn't know what to do. She did.
But I don't want to put a grade on that one.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to show. I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't know how to grade it.
I usually
Other than
put
getting
a,
it all wrong.
yeah, I usually put a redo and hand it back because
Like, to me, that would have just been like, you make this stuff.
and
Here, I'm getting my lady eyes.
I can't even. Okay, I want somebody
I had the answer.
to go up there and graph one line using a marker.
Me.
Mikey, I did not call your name. Sit down, boy. Raise your hand.
Me.
Anybody besides Mikey? No, but somebody else is going to have to do the other one. So, Mikey, go do the first one. The -1/2 x plus 5. Don't do the second one.
Oh, that's what I was gonna do the second one.
Man, you should listen next time, huh?
Too bad, so sad.
I'm scared I get it wrong.
But have I ever given you a consequence when I say try? Like, who cares if you get it wrong? Did you try it? Okay. What? Huh? And after he's done. That's not the one I asked you to do.
Oh,
Mikey, I told you that 3 times, dude.
no, I didn't have the other one yet. That one was confusing.
Nobody can do that first one.
Can I show you first?
Go do it, Jaden.
Oh, wait, I wanted to.
You wanted to do the second one.
I could do either.
Okay, I'll let you do the second one. No.
First line.
That's not gonna help.
No. Who said that?
What?
Why don't you go do it, Wyatt? Go do it.
I want to do it.
Huh?
Is that right?
I don't know.
Are you wanting to do the first line, the one that is negative?
The one that -1/2. Okay, so guys, 5. That's your starting point. Is that 5? Okay, so he put a dot right here. All right, now what?
So 1/2, which is just
So down 1 over 2. So he said down 1 over 2 right here. Okay? Keep doing it.
Why do you go down 1 over 2 if it's just a half?
Oh, wait, you should go this way. Down 1 over 2. Because it's a negative slope. Negative goes this way.
Oh, so you don't put on the negative? I would have done that too.
Mm-mm.
okay, you got it. And then the second one, start at -2.
Mikey, you didn't either. Don't stop being ugly. No, you weren't.
Okay, so you start at -2. Gotta make that a correction.
Okay, show me. Just grab another marker by the calendar. Mikey, enough.
And then,
Where's my starting point? Yep. Okay, then what?
Over 3.
Go up 3 over 1. Yep. Yep. Okay, did he find the point that they meet?
Yes.
So we started here.
good job, Cody.
We go up 3 over 1. Up 3 over 1. I did something. Wait, okay. -2. Up 3 over 1. Up 3 over 1. What point did they meet?
They met at 4, 2.
2 is my x.
2, 4.
4. Good. Okay. Look at example 3. We are going to do that last. Okay, why do you think it's C? It says which ordered pair represents a solution. That means where do the lines meet? Where do they meet? Well, here's a -3 and here's a +3. -3 is my x, so that has to come first. Y'all put +3. Y'all keep going to the y first. It has to be B. When you have a coordinate pair, it is x and y. My x-axis are my numbers here. This is -3, +3. Yes, on purpose. Okay. Now, this gives us a motorsport that has motorcycles and ATVs in stock. The store has a total of 45 vehicles. Okay, so ATVs are my X on my X-axis. Motorcycles are on my Y-axis. So I have how many vehicles total?
45 total vehicles.
ATV plus motorcycle equals 45. Okay. Now, this is write a pair of equations that can represent the equation. Identify and verify the values. We just need to write an equation that shows, all right, well, how many, it says there are 130 wheels together, right? So if I am writing, it says, let's see, okay, right here. Do I have where it meets?
20, 25.
Okay. 20 and 25 is where they meet. How many ATVs were there? 20. This is ATVs. There are 20. So I have 20. That is my X. Plus, what is my Y? 25Y equals 45. What is another equation that we could write?
45.
What about the 130?
130.
So instead of equaling how many vehicles, it could total, well, how many wheels? Okay. What?
50.
Okay, so 50 for the motorcycles. Why? Because there's 2. So he did 25 times 2. What about this one?
80.
Pretty good.
Okay, we're going to leave it at that. I don't want to overcomplicate it and get y'all's brains. Okay. Y'all's homework is 10 questions.